Hey everyone, and welcome back to the second episode of the 13th Sign podcast. Thank you for being here. If you made it through our first episode, you deserve an award. In this episode today, we will be just kind of recapping and following on from the X situation. If you don't know what we're talking about, listen to last week's episode. And then we'll be going through the signs. So we'll just be going and giving basic descriptions of the signs for anyone that hasn't done much research into astrology apart from their own signs. But kicking it off, Elise, how do you feel that Virgo season's just started?
I feel ready.
Ready? We've been so productive today.
We have.
We've just actually, today we published the first episode of the podcast, which is very, very exciting. We have officially had 2 listeners. So some would say that it's a hit. So we're very, very excited.
Yes, please rate, review, and give us some feedback. If you hate it, that's okay. Just tell us you hate it.
Tell us how you want us to improve,
yes.
All of that type of stuff. So if you were here last week, you know that I messaged my ex
to find out his birth time, and because we know obviously his date.
Oh, well, I had to stalk for the date, but you know about that.
She had to unblock him, so he was blocked. And
yes, my husband laughed at me when I came home because I was quite stressed to tell him that I'd messaged my ex, and he just kind of laughed at me because he knew that it was very embarrassing for me because my ex thought that I wanted to get back with him.
Yeah.
Because
he was very confused.
Very confused. I messaged him and just asked what was his birth time, and he came back, and I was just like, oh, I'm just curious about like our compatibility to kind of see why we broke up. And then he got real mad and he's like, don't you know why we broke up? Curiosity killed the cat. Like, how dramatic. Okay. But he still texted his mum to find out his birth time for me.
True.
Yeah, so anyway, I got it. So we're going to go over that real quickly just so that you guys know what type of shit I was dealing with. So you'll probably get a bit of a better idea after we go through the signs when you actually have an understanding of them. But just to give you an idea, his Taurus sun.
Yes.
So we stan a Taurus sun in this house.
If you listen to our first episode, we had some things to say about his personality before we knew about his sign.
Yeah.
So that relates to a few things.
But Elise is an April Taurus, so we can shit on a May Taurus.
Yeah, I feel like April Tauruses are like great. I mean, I might just be biased because I'm an April Taurus, but I feel like April Tauruses and May Tauruses are so different.
Yeah.
So a little bit more, I mean, let's just say a little bit more possessive, I guess. But I mean, that could be just my viewpoint.
And I think the April Tauruses are a little bit more food focused in possession, and then the May Tauruses are a little bit more like material possessions.
True. And I guess it's more also like if you're thinking about, well, we don't believe in cusps, just by the way. We'll get to that in a later episode.
But then he's a Virgo moon.
Yeah.
So just like emotionally unavailable and completely practical. So that makes a lot of sense. But then his ascendant, which your ascendant, we'll get into it more in later episodes for the people that are on the beginning of their astrology journey. But your ascendant is basically what people see when they first see you. It's how you present yourself and it's how you perceive the world. And that is in Pisces. And Pisces are very, very emotional. So he's very like contradictory in his chart of like everything. And his Pisces is also in his first house, which and then he's got and just to say like fuck you. Like I feel like I don't need to like be vengeful or petty. Like obviously I'm a Scorpio, so that's what I'm good at. But I feel like I don't need to be revengeful or petty because he's a Saturn 12th house Aquarius. So, you know, his Saturn return's coming for him.
Yeah, he's got some shit coming to him. Calm as a beach.
Yes. So, yeah, that was just our little catch-up for any of you guys that were interested in what I was dealing with. Maybe I'll post his, like, chart up on the Instagram page. Let me know if you want to see that or not. I love looking at people's charts, whether you know what they mean or not. I feel like when you just see all of the lines crossing and everything, you can just look at it and know serial killer, balanced, or just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I love to look at serial killers' birth charts, and all of them look quite similar, to be honest.
Yeah, such a Scorpio. So, just a quick overview. If you are a complete new beginner, and
which we totally love. We love new beginners, because astrology as a community just needs to be growing, and there's no way that you can just jump in and know everything, because we don't either.
Yeah,
but as we said before, you have like your sun, your moon, your rising, but then you also have all of your other planets and your houses and all of that type of stuff. So you do have everything in your chart somewhere.
So if you hear people ever talking about the big three, that's what it is: your sun, your moon, and your rising. And those basically are the most prominent in your chart. And then you'll get to your Mercury, which is, we'll go into later, but communication, your Venus, which is love. Mars is more like passion and drive and everything, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. So if you can visualize a circle, and the circle divided into 12 parts, so that is what your chart looks like. And so it's basically a map or a snapshot of the sky at the time you were born. So basically, if you know your sun sign, most people know their sun sign when they're talking about zodiac signs. So your sun sign is usually your like core traits, how you sort of, I guess, present as a person. Your moon sign is more your emotions and how you sort of deal with all of that stuff.
And your moon also relates to your mother. So it also can represent your relationship with your mother and your mothering kind of feel.
Yeah, the nurturing world. Sort of traits. And also, circling back, your father is sort of representative in your sun sign. But that's a whole other episode. We can talk forever about this. And yeah, as Billy said before, your ascendant is how you sort of see the world, and sometimes how the world sort of sees you. So yeah.
So just to go over our signs again, just in case you're wondering why we may, when we go through the signs, have particular favoritism. I'm a Scorpio sun, Taurus rising, and a Gemini moon. And Elise is a Taurus sun, Scorpio rising, Scorpio moon, Scorpio stellium.
Thank you, Billy. Thanks for that.
So, do you want to start off at the beginning of the zodiac?
Okay, so we're starting off with Aries. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's from March 21st to April 19th. So this is a fire sign.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's sort of like the way I sort of see it, and the way people describe it, I guess, is like it's the first sign of the zodiac. It's the first like birth into the world. So the first spark, as Billy likes to call it, like a match.
The most beautiful description of an Aries I've ever had was that before there was like anything, we were just in a black room of like nothingness, like before the Big Bang. And then the Aries is the match and the spark. And it's such a whimsical, beautiful light, because it can be super productive and super powerful, but it does have, like, all of them have weaknesses. It can be impatient, short-tempered, impulsive, just like when you light a match. Like, it's very quick to light.
And it's sort of like a bit of an explosion, and then it calms down a little bit. So it's very just like get up and go, determined, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like I think that it's always good to have an Aries, well, not necessarily an Aries, but a fire sign friend in your life, because they'll just blow smoke up your not blow smoke up your ass, but they'll get you going. Like one of my Aries friends, like, she is the most productive person I know. Like, if I ask her for help on anything, she'll give me 10 Pinterest boards, all of the inspo that I need, and like all of the links for where to go get everything that I want, and all of that type of stuff. They're very, very proactive, very honest friends. They'll always tell you like how they're feeling, and they're great people to have around, but they, as I said, they can be impatient, a little short-tempered and impulsive, which is common amongst the fire signs. And the next one of our favourite signs.
We love a Taurus.
Yes, we do love a Taurus. The bull, as they say.
Yes. Should I do my own sign? Because
yes, go for it.
Okay, so Taurus is definitely a earth sign. So it's very, like, grounded. It's a fixed sign. So Taurus's ruler is Venus. So, and strengths, reliable, patient, practical, devoted, responsible, stable. Weaknesses, and you've probably heard this a billion times, is that Tauruses are stubborn and possessive and uncompromising with, which, side note, yes, it is true, but also it's not true. Depends, okay? Typical likes, I guess. Food, definitely. Materialistic things sometimes. I mean, it depends what type of Taurus you are, but they like pretty things. That's how I
feel like the word materialistic has changed a lot. Like, it, instead of it just being like when we say materialistic, like they appreciate materialistic things, we're not meaning like Gucci, Louis Vuitton.
Although there's some people out there that like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But like as a generalization, like material thing is just something that is in a literal form. Like they like physical possessions. That's why like that food is a physical thing that they enjoy.
And they're very like connected to their senses. So, you know, like touch, taste, like sight as well. So like pretty things around them. Aesthetics, you know.
If any of you have seen Elisa's apartment, it is like if you took Elisa's possessions out of the apartment, it would be just a boring white room, pretty much. But it is the most like eccentric, creative space that I've ever seen anyone create. And I think that you have all of that to credit to your Taurus. It's very,
definitely.
Very beautiful.
It's like if my personality just like vomited on my place. That's what it is.
But you're also like that. You're very consistent with your fashion as well.
Yeah, I mean, it has changed over the years, but I still like having a specific aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vibrant.
Did you say the dates for that one?
April 20th to May 20th is the date. And my birthday is the 26th of April if anyone wants to send me a present next year.
So the next one is my moon sign. So we're going in these in order of the zodiac, not order of the calendar year, because we don't stand a calendar year. We stand a zodiac year. So yeah, I'm a Gemini moon. So Gemini's is an air sign. So from May 21st to June 20th. With it, for all the 90s and early 2000s people listening, when I say air, fire, water, earth, just think of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that pretty much sums it all up for you. But yeah, so Gemini is an air sign, as I said. Gentle, affectionate, curious, adaptable, ability to learn quickly and exchange ideas. So the Gemini is usually represented by the twin. So a lot of people always see Gemini as two-faced and pretty much two-faced is the only description that I get whenever I say that I've got a Gemini moon. They just think that I'm emotionally...
Also, I don't know why, but people think Geminis are crazy, and that's not correct.
It's not correct. Geminis are very, very switched on. I feel like...
And very intellectual.
Very intellectual. They're... The only problems is that they can tend to be inconsistent and indecisive. So you might...
That makes sense.
Yeah. Because they're so, like, intellectual and always thinking, obviously if you think about something enough, your mind is going to change because you're going to learn more. So I think that that's where the indecisive and everything comes in. They don't like being alone, being confined. Repetition. Oh, my God. I can't speak.
Edit that, Elise.
And routine. They like music, books, magazine, chats with nearly anyone, and short trips to town. Don't know.
That's so random.
That's so random. Don't know why that was in there. And so, yeah, I really like the having a Gemini moon because I feel like it gives me a bit more
Your favourite word.
perspective when navigating my emotions instead of just being like either emotional or stubborn. It like allows me a little bit more time to think things through. So I stan a Gemini.
Yeah.
And I
feel like Geminis are like, they're an air sign, so they're a little bit like, when I think of it, it's like, you know, they're all in their head, they're like up in the clouds type thing, they're thinking of this, thinking of that, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's...
Geminis have really been villainized, and a lot of people think that they're going to kill you, but I just think that, like, if a Gemini could kill you in their head, like, yeah, they'd be dangerous, but they're quite gentle in the literal form. They're probably a bit of a keyboard warrior, and they'll probably snap at you a bit if you're having a fight online that's something...
Like an argument.
Yeah, that isn't in a physical presence, but in a physical presence, they're pretty gentle from my experience.
Yeah.
So next one of your favorite signs.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's my favorite.
I know, I said one of them.
They're all my favorite.
Yeah, they're all beautiful in their own way.
So the next up is Cancer. So Cancer is a water sign. It's ruled by the moon, so very emotional. It is from June 21st to July 22nd. So the way I sort of see a Cancer is the crab. So hard outer shell, mushy inside.
Super mushy inside.
Super mushy, but like it's really hard to crack open that shell. So Cancer strengths, highly imaginative, loyal, emotional, sympathetic, and persuasive. Some of my best friends are Cancers, and it's like, I just love them.
Yeah.
I just love a Cancer.
You haven't had like a deep conversation until you've had a conversation with Cancer. Like a Cancer, you'll be like I usually struggle to get conversations with Cancers because as a Scorpio, I'm very observant and I'll be looking at them from the outside and I'll just see this person that's like extroverted, comes across a bit Leo-ish, and
totally.
Yeah. And just very like playing the crowd, sometimes can come across a bit dicky because they're just trying to make everyone happy and like leave all of their walls up. But then like they'll have a couple drinks and you'll sit down next to them and they'll start talking and you won't get them to shut up. They'll tell you everything, but like in such an insightful, beautiful way, like not in a dramatic, complaining way. Like they're very, very beautiful at expressing themselves.
So weaknesses include a little bit moody, pessimistic, suspicious sometimes. They can be manipulative and insecure as well.
Don't cheat on a Cancer.
Yeah, they will fuck you up.
Yeah.
You'll never like live it down.
Yeah, no, I know that I said before that a Gemini wouldn't kill you, but like if you cheated on a Cancer, I can't confirm that they wouldn't.
These are dislikes and likes are hilarious.
They liked home-based hobbies, relaxing near or in water, helping out loved ones, a good meal with friends. Dislike strangers, any criticism of mum.
Yeah.
That's so true. I'm like, because this is the thing, right? Like, I can look at my sign and be like, oh my god, that's really strangely accurate. And then I'll like read other signs and I'm like, that's weirdly specific, it can't be accurate. But if you insult a Cancer's mum, if they love their mum, they'll fuck you up again. If they don't like their mum, they'll probably still be extremely offended, but they'll probably agree with you. But don't go offending. Don't pull any mum jokes on a Cancer. They'll really not like that one. The next one. Now we've got next to Leo. No,
why are you telling me?
I was just trying to get you excited.
I thought it was Scorpio. I was like,
if you haven't noticed, the signs do go fire, earth, air, water. Yeah. Next we've got the Leo. So, they are from July 23rd to August 22nd. The Leos, as a fire sign, I would describe them as like the campfire. So you have the Aries, which is the match the whimsical, powerful flame. I see the Leo as a little bit more of the campfire. They're the ones that like get the community together, and the community surrounds the Leo.
They love the attention.
They love the attention, but they also love to provide as well. And I think I was listening to another podcast recently, and they were saying how a lot of the archetypes that we have for the signs are all written by males for males. And all of them are very different between whether you're female or male. And he was pointing out the difference between Leo female and a male, because the Leo it's like animal is the lion, and so we always look at it as like very arrogant, very performative, very like all about me all the time. But that's the lion. The lioness is the one that's like out there doing all the hard work, getting shit done, getting dinner, bringing dinner home for the husband. Like, it's a real boss ass bitch. So any female Leos out there, I know you're working hard. So they're very creative, passionate, generous, warm-hearted, cheerful, and humorous. Their weaknesses can be arrogant, stubborn, self-centered, lazy, and inflexible. So I would challenge that to say that that's a bit more of the male Leo. I think that the female Leo is a little bit more like community orientated.
I also see, like, going back to like the lioness mentality, like very protective. If you're friends with a Leo, or you know, family or whatever with a Leo, like, you are protected for life. Like, they will protect you to the end. They'll fight to the end for you.
Yeah, like my mum's a Leo, and she's the hardest working woman I know. And my mother-in-law is also a female Leo, and like both of those two are business owners, entrepreneurs,
boss
women. Like they are women. So definitely stan a female Leo. Think that they're one of the most powerful powerful placements is definitely a Leo. Love them. I'll let you continue on with the Virgo, our favourite sign.
We love a Virgo. So next up is a Virgo. So they are also an earth sign.
Do you feel like we have a problem with Virgos because, like, I feel like you don't really like other earth signs, just saying.
The only earth sign, see, I don't really know a lot of Virgos. I've heard a lot of things from friends who have been in either a relationship with a Virgo or friends with a Virgo, more so relationship. Shout out to Harmony, love you. She's dealt with some Virgos and stuff, and I've heard most of it from her, and it hasn't been good. So Virgos, I think their weaknesses, sometimes they can be like Tauruses, possessive,
extremely,
yeah, very stubborn. I mean, I feel like Taurus is more of a warm earth sign, where Virgo is more of a hard, like,
I feel like they're very like unavailable. Is that like a word I could use?
I think maybe they're just not really super open to changing opinions or changing the way they do things, which can be the stubbornness.
But that said, as we said before, I don't know whether we said this on here or not, but as much as we can shit on Virgos, it's just because we've had bad experiences with them. Virgos are one of the most proactive, productive people. Yes, they will do things the same every single time, but that's because that works.
Also, I do have one friend who is a Virgo, and she is incredible. Like, we work really well together. Taurus and Virgo work quite well together, and also are a bit compatible, especially as friends. So yeah, my one friend who is a Virgo, we work amazingly together. We bounce off each other. We're always like we have different ideas, but we're always on the same path. So I feel like as friends, Virgos are really great.
Yeah, but they just might not be able to give you the type of emotional support you need as in a relationship, because they might get a little too overbearing. But yeah, I think that, like, as we said when we were going through Friends characters, Monica is definitely a Virgo, and
Mhm.
I think that she's a great example of a good Virgo,
Mhm.
and I guess she also shows some of the negative traits as well.
But also she is like, you know, we have to think about moon signs as well. Like we're talking about sun signs now, but don't forget moon signs definitely come into it more with the emotional aspect to things.
Yeah.
So even if you're a Virgo sun, you can still be quite emotional.
Yeah.
Depending on
If you were going to be with a Virgo, I would personally want them to have like a Cancer moon. I think that would be quite beautiful.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're a Virgo, you're beautiful.
Yeah,
and
we love you.
And you will have the rest of your chart will make you balance as a person, because I don't think I've ever seen it. Like it's impossible to just be one thing.
Exactly.
So you've got everything to balance you out, which is quite nice.
So the Virgo dates are August 23 to September 22nd. And their ruler is Mercury.
So if you've heard of Mercury retrograde, we've got the Virgos to thank.
So their strengths include loyalty. They're very analytical, kind, hardworking, and practical.
Yeah, I think Virgo would make a very good accountant.
No one likes an accountant.
I'm an accountant.
We love accountants. Don't hate us. So their weaknesses include worry, overcritical thinking, overcritical of themselves and others, and all work and no play.
Yes, very true. And I think that why Virgos get a very, like, people perceive them as quite cold is just because they're so internal with their thoughts. They're not very, like, I don't know what sign's very outward, but like they're again like a Gemini, very misunderstood, and they're just deeper thinkers.
Okay, next one.
Next one. Hope you're all still with us. So the next one is Libras. So it's the second air sign of the zodiac. Its ruler is Venus, and Venus is the planet of love. Venus is one of my favorite planets to track because it affects me very greatly.
Yes, and it affects me. It affects you a lot because you're a Taurus rising, but also it affects my sun sign because I'm a Taurus. So and Venus controls that sign. So
yeah, because Venus just moved into Mars, and I had the best sex of my life last night. Very passionate.
Good work, Travis. Well done. If you're listening, number one fan.
10 out of 10 do stand. So Libra. So Libra is the balance. So I think that Libras can be, like, I think that some signs are more positive than others, but I feel like Libra is one of those signs where it can be either or depending on the people that it's around, because it just likes to balance out the room. Like, if you're really negative around the Libra, they'll try and bring the positivity. If you're too positive around the Libra, they'll try and bring the practicality. So they're very cooperative, diplomatic, gracious, fair-minded, and social. I think if we're going to have what are they called? Judges and stuff, like making rulings, they should all be Libras. I think that should be a specification so that they see both sides, because we don't want any bias in our courtrooms. But that's, if I was running for Prime Minister, that would be my campaign. So that's why I'm not Prime Minister. But they can be very indecisive, and they really like to avoid confrontation. Like, they will carry a grudge. Libra really likes harmony. Shout out again to harmony. Gentleness and sharing with others and the outdoors. They dislike violence, injustice, loudmouths, and conformity. So again, would be great judges.
I see Libra as, like, I mean, I know that Libra's an air sign and Taurus is an earth sign, but I see Libra and Taurus being very, like, similar with their, like, likes and stuff like that. Like, they like romance and, like, aesthetics still. Like, they're very sort of visual people. Yeah, that's just my take.
Yeah, I feel like if you were to describe their air signs, like, as I was going through, like, Aries is a match, Leo is a campfire, and I'll get to the next one. What would you describe, like the air signs as in like that type of format, like.
God, I don't know.
Because I would describe like Aquarius as kind of like a fucking mess of a hurricane, or really windy. Like they're just windy. Like they're all over the place, blowing in whatever which direction. Whereas like I think that like the Libra is the one that's like pushing out like windmills and stuff. Like they're the ones that are like making our green energy and like doing all that shit. Like, you know, if that's oh no, you know what they are? Oh, that's kind of cute. They're like a little pinwheel. You know those little pinwheels that you blow into? Cute. That's what I'm thinking of when I say like windmill and stuff. And then Gemini. Gemini is like the eye of a hurricane. But yeah, they're very I love a Libra. I've got a Libra friend, and I think that she provides a great balance wherever she is.
I think I see Libras as quite like not childlike, but they sort of enjoy.
I think they're very childlike signs.
Yeah.
I think that they're very
like whimsical, and like they're enjoying playing in the garden. Like obviously Tauruses love you know that sort of stuff, but they're like running around in the garden.
My Libra friend's favorite thing to do whenever it rains is just go for a run, and she'll go for a run and pick flowers. Like that sums up a Libra. But like they do struggle with like, and this is just like a generalization again, but they do definitely struggle with, as I said, confrontation. So Libras can get themselves into really bad relationships because they don't express themselves, and because they just don't like confrontation, and they're the peacemakers. They'll just keep on keeping the peace instead of like addressing issues, which is probably one of their biggest faults in my personal opinion. But yeah, again, we love all of the signs, and I think that they're all very, very beautiful and unique in their own ways. I'll let you criticize me next.
I was going to say, should I do the Scorpio or should you do the Scorpio?
Well, see, you're a Scorpio stellium. I'm only a Scorpio sun.
I know.
And honestly, I'd love to see you try and rip me to shreds. And rip yourself to shreds and make.
Sorry, next up is Scorpio.
Everyone's favourite sign.
Everyone's favourite sign. People seem to think we're serial killers, but that is not the case.
No, we're not serial killers. Sagittarius is actually the most likely to become a serial killer, and also the most likely to start a cult. Tauruses, their only problem is that they can sometimes be cannibals, but Scorpios definitely aren't involved in the criminal environments as much as we are told that we are. Yes.
But that's also, we'll do an episode on serial killers and their zodiac signs.
Yeah, if you're interested, please be interested, because
Billy loves talking about that.
Yeah, as a Scorpio.
As a true Scorpio sun. She loves that shit. That's her bread and butter.
Yeah. Or I'd love to do a story time on my Scorpio childhood.
Oh God, that'd be a roller coaster.
Yeah, because my brother is even, I would say he's a creepier Scorpio than me.
Oh my
but
God.
It's us combined.
I've heard the stories. They're fucked. Let's just say.
I think I scared Elise a little bit.
I was very surprised because, I mean, Billy does present herself a little bit more Taurus-like. But if you potentially knew Billy as a child, you would be scared for your life.
I only would like summon demons and shit.
Yeah,
like,
you know,
it's fine.
that's normal. Anyways, so wow, I can't even speak. So a lot of people assume that like Scorpio is actually more of like a fire sign or something like that.
Very incorrect.
But that is incorrect. They're
actually
the
opposite.
A water sign.
Very intuitive, very emotional.
Yes. So their date range is October 23rd to November 21st.
And if you want to send me a present, my 21st is actually coming up. So if you want to send us gifts, my birthday is on the 28th of October. And as I said, it's my 21st birthday.
So you need to send something amazing.
We need to set up a PO box for all my gifts.
For all of our fans out there.
Yeah.
So Scorpio strengths. They can be resourceful, brave, passionate, stubborn, and a true friend. Their weaknesses are distrusting, jealous, secretive. This says violent.
See, lies. I don't actually like this website.
This is very generalized.
But, okay, if we're on the subject of violence, can I tell you something that's...
I mean, okay, I feel like they're not really violent. I think they're more sadistic, but not in a physical way. They're more sadistic.
Meticulous, I would prefer to say.
I feel like they will mind fuck you. Like, they might not fuck you up physically, but don't cross a Scorpio because they'll fucking sting you.
No, me going through puberty with a fucking Gemini moon and a Scorpio sun, can I just make a public service announcement that I'm sorry? Like, the shit I've done to people, I'm sorry. Like, I really, really fucked with people's heads a little too much, and I want to make a public announcement that I apologise.
Sorry if she's ever done that.
Sorry if I've ever done that to you. But just on the
she's grown now. She's grown.
I'm grown. Just on the subject of violence, I did have a funny thing that I've never related it to my Scorpio. But before we started doing F45, I would go throughout the week, and I just like build up like energy and like anger and resentment to my husband. And it would get to Saturday, and I'd be like, he could just tell that I was like really moody and like really like angry for no reason, obviously. My husband is perfect and never does anything wrong, but I would just be really mad at him for whatever reason.
He takes a lot of shit. We love you, Travis.
And you know when it got real bad, because I'd be like I'd be laying there like pulling a full sour face, and then I'd be like, babe, get the boxing gloves. And then he'd have to like put on the boxing mitts, and then I would just like punch him with like, obviously in the gloves, like I wasn't hitting him. I'm in a very healthy relationship, but I would just have to like get out the like frustration, because I think as someone who very much lives in their head, you need to release some of the built up emotion.
I definitely feel that. I feel like Scorpios, they're very like, they keep to themselves a lot.
And how you spot a Scorpio at a party is, as I said, with the Cancer. Like, they're very like, people will watch the Cancer, love the Cancer, and then when you start talking to the Cancer, they'll tell you everything. The Scorpio is the one listening, and they're not saying
watching
anything.
Everything.
Scorpios will like, you know that you're friends with a Scorpio if they know every single thing about you and you don't know anything about them.
Totally.
Like, you're lucky if you know their mum. Let alone their mum's maiden name. Let alone any of their previous traumas. And if you know anything about them, it's like only what they want you to know.
Yeah. Scorpios are very selective when, I guess, having friends, but also telling people their deep dark secrets. They'll know everything about everyone else. And you'll know nothing about them. So
like, I only really open up to people when my Gemini moon's like controlling me. Like, if my Scorpio is like the one in charge, sometimes I'd like to think about like the signs and stuff as in like Inside Out, like as the ones like controlling.
Yes.
And
oh my God.
So if my sun sign is like driving, like, you're not getting anything from me. But if the sun sign's like at the toilet and the Gemini's like, I'll take the controls, I'll like be like, oh yeah, so you know, like when I was 6, this really happened and it was very traumatic, or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as you like break down that wall, like, look out, because
you don't want to know what they've got to say.
It's a flood. Like,
Elise has been subject to some of my Scorpio-ness, and as she said before, she's quite scared.
True.
We'll stop talking about Scorpios.
I know. I feel like we could just talk about Scorpios forever.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and I feel like, I mean, people often think that Scorpios are visually, like, they are like quite mysterious
and sexy, and
like,
Scorpios are always related with sex, and it's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
No, don't.
They can be.
So the next one, do you want to talk about Sagittarius, because you actually have more experience with Sagittarius than I do?
I mean, I've said this many times before. I love Sagittarius. Do I understand them? No. Yeah. I don't.
My dad's a Sag.
Yeah.
My dad's a Sag with a fuckload of Scorpio in him, and he is the most confusing person in the world.
Yeah. Literally. So Sagittarius is a fire sign. They are between November 22nd and December 21st. So people often generalize a Sagittarius to be like the travelers, like that free, like energy. Their strengths include they're very generous, idealistic, have a great sense of humor. Their weaknesses include promising more than they can deliver, very impatient, will say anything no matter how undiplomatic.
So just continuing on with my theme of going through the fire signs as metaphors.
Yeah.
I said this one to you in the car just before, after we got food, because we're fucking Taurus, of course. But yeah, I think that the Leo is the campfire, the Aries is the match, and the Sagittarius is like the lantern. So it needs to be released and share its beautiful light in the world, and you can observe a Sagittarius, and they're very, very beautiful. But if you were to light the lantern and hold it to the ground, you'd be looking at a bushfire.
Totally. Yeah, so they need to be free.
Yeah.
They can't be held down. They need to explore. Like, that's often why you think of the traveler when you think of a Sagittarius. But they really they can't be held down. They need to do what they want when they want, and not in an Aries way.
Yeah, like they're very much
not in a selfish way, but just in.
I think selfishness is something that is very misconstrued. I think it's different to be selfish. I feel like selfish is when you do something that takes away from other people. But doing stuff for yourself is one of the most powerful things you can do. Like
100%.
Making decisions that might not be the best for everyone else, but if it's what you need to do to improve yourself, then that's what you need to do, you know?
Totally.
So yeah, we stand as Sag. Did you say their date?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. You're so onto it.
I know, I'm fabulous.
But yeah, the Sagittarius is very related to just traveling, and they're a lot more than that. Taylor Swift is actually a Sag. So, well, were we talking about her?
We're talking about Tay-Tay soon.
Yeah, stay tuned. So our next one is a Capricorn. So they're the last Earth sign of the zodiac.
Yes.
So they're meant to be the most developed. But with the Capricorns, again, I feel like a lot of the signs are misunderstood because people, like, I feel like society has a grudge against, like, people doing what's best for themselves. Like, I feel like they want everyone to be, like, super complaining. Like society wants you to be, like, complain all the time, bitch all the time, do all of this all the time, and, like, that's what we, like. And I feel like Capricorns get a lot of shit because they just like to get shit done.
Totally.
Like,
they're Earth signs, so they're very much like, you know, Taurus and Virgo, like, sometimes stubborn, but yeah.
Yeah, and they're also ruled by Saturn. So, well, obviously we're going to go into planets later, but Saturn as a rule is a very, like, rules-based planet. It's very much structures and all of that type of stuff.
The dad.
Like I don't have daddy issues. I have fucking Saturn issues, bitch. But yeah, they're very responsible, disciplined, self-controlled, and good managers. So if you have a boss, like, it's just kind of like a boss. Like, you don't, like, yes, they're probably a bitch and they're probably rude and demanding, but, like, at the end of the day, they're, like, the one getting the company money and paying your bills, you know? Their weaknesses, they can be a know-it-all. Can agree with it. Unforgiving, condescending, accepting of the worst. So, again, it's like, if you do wrong by them, they're not going to forget it.
Yeah.
They're not going to forgive. And, like, yeah, if they think they know everything and they think they're hot shit, obviously they're going to be condescending if you're just talking dumbass shit to them, you know? They're the sign that represents time and responsibility, which I think just basically sums them up pretty.
What was their strengths again?
Strengths. Let me get it up. Strengths: responsible, disciplined, self-controlled, and good manners. They like quality craftsmanship, family, tradition, music. Music, I think, definitely is very accurate.
I feel like often, like, people don't understand what.
I just read the Capricorn dislikes, and it's like for every other sign, it's just got like 4 or 5 different things that they generally don't like. Almost everything at some point.
That's so accurate. Oh my god. But I feel like Capricorns, as all the other signs, can be misunderstood. And I feel like, you know, if you are a good friend to a Capricorn, like they're your ride or die. So, you know, they won't go anywhere. But if you fuck up, you're gone. So don't fuck up.
Don't fuck up to a Capricorn. Like, if you've got a Capricorn in your life, you need to stay on the good side of that. And don't complain to them too much, because they're not going to really appreciate it. They'll just, like, they'll be the type of person that's just like, well, what are you doing to fix it? Not like, oh my god, that's so sad. Let's be sad together. Like, if you want that, go to a Cancer. Travis.
Oh, Travis. It's Travis's sign.
I love Aquariuses.
So, Aquarius is next. So, they're from January 20th to February 18th. One of my best friends is an Aquarius. Their element is air.
Very controversial.
Yes, a lot of people think it's obviously water because it's aqua.
Yeah, and it's their symbol is the water bearer. I've gotten into so many arguments with Aquariuses trying to convince themselves that they're an air sign. I'm like, I think I would know, considering that I was the one that told them that they were an Aquarius.
Okay, so Aquarius traits. So they are, their strengths: progressive, original, independent, humanitarian. Their weaknesses include runs from emotional expression, temperamental, uncompromising, aloof.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. My husband's an Aquarius. And he's like, Aquariuses really like to reinvent themselves. They really like to be constantly improving and developing. They really need to have, because they're so, like, airy. I don't have any other word to put it. They're the airiest of the fucking air signs. With some of the planets, we've got a few going into Aquarius at the moment, and that scares me. Like,
I think it's also terrifying, but I think it's also really exciting, because Aquarius to me is new,
very
unheard
inventive
of thoughts, like new, inventive.
Aquariuses will say shit, and you'll just be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, you'd be like, oh my god, you're insane. But then when you actually think about it, you're like, whoa. Like, that actually just blew my mind.
Yeah, and they're very good at entertaining themselves. Like, they're the type, like, again, if you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, they're the ones making the little air scooters going around town fucking shit up. They're not the ones sitting there meditating in deep thought. Like, they're the ones going riding bisons, flying in their little hovercraft things. Gliders, that's the word. But they don't like emotion, I would say. I think that they're scared a bit. I think, like, as the Gemini is very deep in thought and quite emotional, I would say, I think that the Aquarius is, they don't really understand the emotional side as, not that they don't understand, they understand it, but they don't really like to be bogged down by emotion. They prefer to be very airy and light and very present in the moment. But yeah, they're January 20th to February 28th. And we love an Aquarius.
We do.
Last
certainly not least.
Certainly not least. If we said that they were the least, they'd all be crying.
So, the last one is Pisces. So they are obviously a water sign. Represented by the fish.
Yeah. Sorry.
So they are from February 19th to March 20th. So their strengths include they're very compassionate, artistic, intuitive, gentle, wise, and sometimes musical. Their weaknesses are they're sometimes really fearful, overly trusting, sad. The desire to escape reality, and can be a victim or a martyr.
Yeah, I feel like the Pisces is like what everyone wants their mum to be. A Pisces mum would be like, if you're sitting there crying, they'll fucking be crying with you. You don't even need to tell them why you're upset.
Like, they'll be crying before you start crying.
Yeah, like at the thought of you crying, now
Yeah.
already in tears.
My mum is a Pisces moon and she cries at everything.
Shout out.
She's an Aries sun, so she's a boss bitch, but she's also a Pisces moon. So
Yeah, Pisces
cries at ads, everything.
Yeah, if you've got a Pisces moon, I just want to send you a box of chocolates.
I just want to give you a hug.
Yeah. Tell you everything is going to be okay.
We can just cuddle and we don't even have to speak about it. We just have to cry.
Yeah. And like they're probably more likely to like be quite anxious at times. Like if you're a Pisces, I feel like you definitely need to have like a fire or earth around you. Like I could not imagine a Pisces dating like an Aquarius. Like they need something that's able to give them enough stability and like, but maybe have like a little bit of like an emotional moon or something so they're able to connect, you know?
Imagine being a triple Pisces. If there's any triple Pisces out there, please let us know. Yeah. Are you okay?
Like, yeah, are you okay? Do you want me to send you a box of aloe vera tissues? Because I'm sure your nose and eyes are sore.
Oh my god.
Like, I can't imagine, like, as a Scorpio, like, I'm fucking emotional enough. I could not imagine the level of emotion. But they must be, like, they would have to be the most intuitive.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that comes with the anxiety as well because they're, like, so, like, looking to the future that they sometimes can scare themselves out of a lot of things, but then they can also be too trusting, so it's kind of
definitely. I think the trusting thing is definitely, when I think of Pisces, I just think of being too trusting and seeing the good in people when necessarily it probably isn't there all the time.
Yeah, they're kind of like the Libra of water signs in my opinion. Like I don't want to say, like, I don't think that they're weak or anything. And I don't think that it's a bad thing to be really in touch with your emotions and cry all the time. I just think that you need to surround yourself by, if you're a Pisces, you just need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself by people that are going to lift you up and not bring you down, because you don't need to be brought down, you know? But yeah, that was our kind of description of the signs and stuff.
Brief and generalized description.
Very generalized.
Also, I think we should probably mention, especially considering we're called the 13th Sign podcast, there is no 13th sign. Don't try and believe that there is, because there isn't.
Yeah, I think, like, obviously the Aquarius or whatever it's called is a constellation, but there are fucking thousands and thousands and thousands of constellations, and we don't have a fucking sign for each of them. The way that I explained it to people that were trying to have, like, I don't
literally
know.
I got so many messages on Instagram being like, so what do you think about the 13th sign? And I'm like, I think nothing.
Yeah, so many people try and start an argument with you, and it's like, I don't have the energy.
Literally.
Like, you're just wrong.
Yeah, I literally just like copied and pasted the same sentence I said to everyone, because so many people messaged me, and as soon as I explained it to one person,
if you were one of those people, like, I don't blame you, because like a couple of years ago I would have done the exact same thing. Like, I remember like one of the first times Elise and I spoke about astrology, I was like, so what's your opinion on the fact that because Australia's in the southern hemisphere, all of the signs are inverted? And she just like looked at me and rolled her eyes.
I didn't roll my eyes. I was just like, I have no response to that. I'm just gonna leave it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it. And then she never talked to me about astrology again until like I came back to her like a year later when I was like, I knew that wasn't the case.
Yeah, she figured out some shit, and then we could actually have a conversation. Yeah. So basically what NASA found was they've just discovered another constellation, which is
And you know what? Like, good job, NASA. You found something that actually people found ages ago, but thank you for announcing it.
Thanks for letting us know again. We already knew about it.
I'm pretty sure that, like, because you just found a old astrology thing that you wrote in from years and years
when
and years
ago. When I started astrology, I just had a little notebook and I wrote down some stuff, and I've just seen that I have written down the 13th sign, and like, you know,
what was it was in Mars. Oh, your Mars placement was in Aquarius or whatever.
Yep. I'm not even gonna try it.
But the way that I got around explaining it, because they just kept on trying to debate with me that the signs were just constellations, and I'm like, yeah, like there is a constellation for it, but that's not what the zodiac thing is basically, like, if you think about all of our planets, they're just named after Greek gods. When we made it, Elise and I actually made the zodiac. Just kidding.
Personally,
this has been around for thousands and thousands of years, but when they designed the birth chart, it's basically just like a pizza.
It's a 12-slice pizza slice.
There's a pizza slices.
The pizza slices have names. So the first house is to do with ego and self-image. The second house is to do with money and material possessions. The third is communication and community. The fourth is family, home, and security. The fifth, self-expression, romance, creativity. The sixth, your day job, health, routines. Seventh, partnerships and marriage. Eighth, transformation, birth, death, sex. 9, belief system, higher learning, travel. 10, career, authority. 11, humanity, group relationships, aspirations. And 12, endings and hidden strengths. So that's just a really quick.
We'll do a whole episode on houses. Don't worry if you didn't get any of that. But basically, the houses and the signs like rotate against each other, and each sign will be in a certain house, and then the planets are just scattered over the pizza like pepperoni, and we just take note of where they are.
Love that, like, as a Taurus rising and a Taurus sun, we keep referring everything to food.
So now that you guys have a little bit of an understanding of the signs, and please, I don't know whether I said this before, but if you are a particular sign, please like DM us. I want to know more about the signs that I don't know a lot about.
Yeah, because obviously we know so much about our own signs, our big three, and also like we've looked at our charts quite a lot, but we haven't really looked at other people's charts too much, and often our perception on those signs come from like our friends or our experiences that we've had personally with certain people
and also like I feel like a lot of it's like internal in your mind and in your head, and I feel like when you look at people and you talk to people, you don't know what's going on inside their head. Like mental health is such a thing, and I think that your signs and everything very much affect that. And I think that I would love to create a bit more of a conversation on that, because I feel like astrology really provides a good language for that as well. But yeah, I would love for you guys to hit us up on, like, if I would love to hear from Virgos, Capricorns,
Sagittarius.
Even though you've got a few Sagittarius in your life, they're not really the ones to tell you what's going on with it.
Yeah, they need to tell me their emotions.
See you guys next full moon or new moon. Hopefully we're going to make these a little bit of more of a regular thing, but we just wanted to get these first two out there in the open, and then hopefully we'll have a little bit more structure to our upload schedule. But very exciting times ahead. This Virgo season is going to be very productive for us.
Yes.
And please let us know as well what you're doing this Virgo season. What's motivating you this time of the year?
And what is your big three? If you know your big three, what's your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising? All right. See you next week.
See you
on
next
the next
week.
episode. Bye.
Bye.